Hello, I'm Irma Baker. Welcome to our show. We're sponsored by RSVP. That's the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and it's a part of Mature Services, offering all kinds of opportunities and services for people here in our Summit County area. We are pleased to have a guest from RSVP today, and she'll be with us right after these messages.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597 extension 166.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Cathy Lance, and Cathy is the director of RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Cathy, it's so wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you, Irma. I'm delighted to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, Mature Services and RSVP have been our sponsor for so long, and we really need to know more about RSVP, and we certainly hope that we will have people from Mature Services and RSVP on again. But today, we're going to be talking about a very special service that you have. But you know what? For people who maybe aren't familiar with RSVP, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it started back during the Kennedy administration. They were deciding at the time, research was showing that seniors were living longer, they were retiring at a much younger age, and it would be a wonderful idea to maybe utilize them as a resource within the community. So RSVP was formed in the early 70s, actually 1971, and it's just a great way to recruit folks to work in critical needs within the community. AmeriCorps started RSVP. They have the VISTA program for the 18 to the 24-year-olds, and then RSVP is for the 55-year-olds and beyond. So it's a division of AmeriCorps. We're the senior division of AmeriCorps.
So then what you're saying is that RSVP is, it's local, certainly it has a very great local presence, but it's part of a much larger organization.
It is. It's headquartered in Washington, D.C., and it's been around for years, and actually my territory is Summit and Medina counties. And it's all over North America.
Oh, that's right. When I was doing the introduction, I said Summit County, but we're here in Medina County, and you are very, very active in Medina County.
Yes, both counties.
A great resource for our area. Well, locally, what is the goal of RSVP?
It used to be that folks could retire and call me up and say, I want to volunteer. What type of activities do you have in the community? And basically we would find out what their skill sets were and match them to an opportunity that was of interest to them. But now we're trying to get more specific and meet critical needs within each community. So we have contact with the community foundations, we reach out to the United Ways, and we try to find out what the core issues are in our community today. So right now we're directing folks to food-related activities. We have a wonderful relationship with the Salvation Army in Summit County and Medina County. Also Faith in Action and Interfaith Caregivers. So right now AmeriCorps is telling us nationwide that food-related issues are very critical. There's a lot of food insecurity. There's a lot of food deserts where seniors have to walk to the dollar store to buy food rather than have fresh produce close to their homes. So we're trying to focus on food-related activities. I'm sending folks to the food pantries and soup kitchens, and also services that help keep seniors within their homes.
Well, I think that's something that we don't think about too often, the fact that the big super grocery stores are creating super grocery stores, and they're closing the smaller locations.
Yes, it has become an issue nationwide.
I'm very surprised that when we look around our communities, I don't think that many of us really think, oh, that's an issue, that's a problem here. How do you find out that it is such a problem?
Well, like I mentioned, the United Way, they do a needs assessment every year. The community foundations typically do a needs assessment. So we collaborate and put the data and statistics together. So AmeriCorps gives me a 3-year grant. So I have a 3-year cycle in which to send people out into the communities. And we're not just focusing on the volunteer, we're also trying to gather data on the people we're serving and find out if they're, if our food services are meeting their needs, if they have an increased sense of food security because of going to that soup kitchen or that food pantry. So we're trying to find out what their needs are, what the age groups are of the individuals in their homes, and just really trying to meet that need in the community.
You know, I'm thinking that you are in the just perfectly placed, because here you are with RSVP, which is providing volunteer opportunities for older adults, but at the same time, you are associated with Mature Services, which is providing services for older adults.
Exactly. RSVP came under their sponsorship in 1981. We started at the United Way building in Akron. RSVP was first housed there in the early 70s, but as that staff grew, there was no longer any space, and Mature Services said, we'll take RSVP. It's serving the population of the people typically that Mature Services serves, anybody 55 and over, and it was just a real complement to their services. At Mature Services in Akron, we have employment services for folks and a job club information, people seeking employment, and we have our drug, alcohol, and mental health recovery through Avenues. We have Meals on Wheels of Northeast Ohio that we operate. We actually serve 1,200 meals a day through our Meals on Wheels and nutrition delivery. And then we have non-medical home care that we provide, and then of course the RSVP program.
My heavens, that is a lot of service to provide to our communities.
It's a very busy organization, yes it is.
I have to ask this, how in the world do you put together 1,200 meals a day?
They work around the clock, they really do.
Is it a kitchen that you have?
Yes, it's on Talmadge Avenue in Akron. 1,000 of those meals are home delivered meals. The other 200 are meals served in congregate settings. And then the objective is to have the seniors come out of their apartments to eat together in the community room. So it provides some socialization as well.
It sounds like a very well thought out program over the entire spectrum that it's doing. Well, when we look specifically at Summit and Medina counties, what are the things that you're doing right here?
We have a relationship with the Salvation Army in both Medina and Summit counties. So they have meal programs where they're taking food out throughout the county. Also the Munch program here in Medina County, folks come in and eat daily there. So that's important. There's always a need at the Salvation Army for volunteers. So if you know of anybody recently retired or has a day on their hands during the week, that's definitely a needed area. And then Faith in Action, Interfaith Caregivers, they're recruiting volunteers to go into the homes, take seniors to doctor's appointments, drop food off to seniors, maybe pick them up to take them grocery shopping. So there's such a need right now with seniors, and keeping seniors independent and living on their own as long as they possibly can.
What kind of requirements are there for people who might want to volunteer? I mean, we may have people viewing our show right now who say, oh, you know, that doesn't sound too overburdensome. Maybe I could do something like that. How would they go about doing that?
They would call my number directly, 253-4597, extension 166. And I would find out what day and time. That's the nice thing about RSVP. You can pick what day and what time you'd like to volunteer. We also offer free accident travel insurance. AmeriCorps does pay the premium on that. So if there were ever any accident on the job or while they were driving or providing their volunteer activities, they would be covered. And then we have a real nice once a year annual recognition event where we recognize up to 300 volunteers for their service they've provided throughout the year. So we hope that you can have your own transportation so you can get to and from. And something I've recently started is a Telecare program. If you cannot drive but still want to volunteer, we have a program where we have senior volunteers calling on shut-in seniors. So that's something that's been real popular lately. I wanted to develop a program that could give access to folks who didn't have transportation an opportunity to still volunteer and touch the life of somebody in their community that has a need.
So when you're saying call on, you're really talking about calling on the telephone.
Yes, yes. You're using your own phone, and we're asking that it be a minimum of twice a week for just 15 minutes, so nothing too lengthy in time. Now, as the individuals get acquainted, naturally the conversations last a little bit longer than that if they would like. And of course, if somebody wants to chat more than twice a week, that's fine too.
So this would be an opportunity, for instance, someone is homebound. Maybe they just can't get out without a lot of help, and maybe you're homebound, but you'd like to do something. You're homebound, but you really want to stay connected with the community, stay active and involved. This is a program where someone could call you and say, I have the time, I'm home, I have a phone, I would love to talk with somebody. And it sounds to me on the other side then that it's very helpful for someone who is homebound and maybe needs some contact that they wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah, it's just been real rewarding. We have people calling us back and saying they really enjoyed getting acquainted with their senior, and sometimes they meet and have coffee together if the relationship develops into something like that. And we are asking that they not provide any medical advice or financial advice, that type of thing. If they do have a personal need, we're just telling folks to call the local 211 information and referral line. So if they do say, I need home care, or I need this service, or I need that service, we actually might be able to help them through mature services. We put them in contact with our services, Meals on Wheels and that type of thing. But if they have any other need, we just refer them to the 211 information referral line. So it's mainly just a friendly visitation call. How are you feeling today? Have you seen your grandchildren lately? And they start chatting. We do find out a little bit about each party beforehand so that we can match them based on interest. Somebody might be into crafts. There might be a gentleman that's into cars and had collected years ago. So the guys like to talk about things like that together. So some people have no preference on who calls them, man or woman, but we do have the person receiving the call fill out a little information page about themselves, and then the person making the call fills out a little information about themselves. So we're matching them and then finding out what time of the day is best for each party to chat. So a little bit of matching goes on, and it's been fun. It's been a real rewarding experience.
Now, how long has the program been in effect? This is really new.
It is very new, just a few weeks actually, just at the beginning of the year. Right now we have 8 people calling on 8 shut-ins, and it's growing though, now that the word's getting out a little bit more. We intentionally wanted it to grow slow just so that we could work out any difficulties, but it's gone very smoothly, and people are really enjoying themselves, so we're thrilled.
It sounds like you've really put together a very productive program that at the same time not only are people getting in touch with each other, but you have that background, you're the connection. So it's not just strangers calling on strangers.
Exactly, and we'll let them know ahead of time that we've got so-and-so that's agreed to call you twice a week on these days and times like you requested, so they know ahead of time who's going to call, and we give them some talking points for their first conversation if maybe they're a little shy and aren't too sure what to talk about the first time around. So we do what we can to support them. And then we're doing a survey every 6 months. We're surveying the person receiving the call and asking, do you feel less lonely as a result of receiving these phone calls? Do you feel that you have a greater sense of connectedness to the outside world, a greater sense of socialness in your lives as a result of this? So we've done a few surveys so far, and folks are real happy with the results.
What kind of vignette types of feedback have you gotten from the people involved? You said you have 8 so far, and What are you hearing from them?
It's funny because I get a lot of phone calls back from the people making the call, and they're just so thrilled. They're excited to be contributing to somebody's life and making the difference in that life. So we get occasional phone calls back, how much they've enjoyed themselves and that it's working out real well. So it's just fun to get a call back from them, to hear them say, I love doing this. And we've got one retired individual calling on 2 shut-ins. She said she was enjoying it so much. Was there somebody else that she could call on? So we have a little waiting list on either side. We're just growing it real slowly. So as we get 2 or 3 people who want to call, then we recruit 2 or 3 more people who would like to make a call.
Putting it all together must have taken some planning and organization. How long have you been working on developing the program?
Probably a year prior to kicking it off this January. It is a template from AmeriCorps National, so they do have some of the tools that we needed, some of the sign-up forms, that type of thing. So it wasn't something that we just threw together ourselves. We did put some planning and thought into it, and AmeriCorps has a training program, and so it's nice to have those tools available. And we did this in Summit County years ago, but we decided to resurrect it. We thought with the amount of seniors in the homes and the amount of people living alone and by themselves, that it would just be a really nice complement to RSVP, complement to mature services, and with the amount of seniors now independent and living by themselves, we thought now would be a perfect time to resurrect the program.
That seems to be the trend now, the independent living with home health services or other programs. What are you seeing that impact then on RSVP and on mature services? Is this really a growing trend, or is it more something that the like medical and health services are trying to promote? Is it really happening out there?
It really is. It really is. I hear too, I chat with the probate courts, and Jobs and Family Services are also getting involved. They're wanting to know a little bit more about the services and wanting to get that word out to their clients and other seniors in the area that they serve to know about the program. So it really is. The amount of seniors are just booming daily, the people that are having those needs. It used to be that we would retire and maybe live 5 or 10 or 15 years, but now baby boomers are retiring and living 20 to 30 more years. So maybe finances are exhausted. There possibly might not be resources to go into a fancy assisted living facility. So it is the trend now that seniors are living alone as long as they can and needing those services within the homes. So we're happy to be able to add Telecare to our repertoire of services that we offer seniors here locally.
Certainly Telecare is a channel, really, to reach seniors who may need services that mature services and RSVP can provide.
Exactly.
How did you actually get involved with mature services and with the RSVP program?
I was on the board of Mature Services. It was an agency that I had a great deal of passion toward. I was in the healthcare industry prior as a radiation therapist for 15 years and worked at the Cleveland Clinic for a little while. And I decided to make a career out of volunteerism. I had always volunteered, and after having been on the board for a little while, I was recruited to take this position, and I thought, well, that's something I have so much passion for, because volunteering's always been a big part of my life. So I've made a second career out of volunteering, and had a lot of passion for the agency and for seniors and just quality of life as people age. And I thought, wow, as seniors are increasing exponentially in our communities, I thought this is just a great way to promote volunteerism and in such a way that we can meet the needs of the seniors within our communities. So it just seemed like a neat little win-win for me. It just, I have so much passion about the services that we provide and then the population that we're serving. And then to engage a volunteer to help meet these needs too, I just think is so exciting. So it's a wonderful agency. We've been around now for 41 years in Akron.
I think that your enthusiasm itself is probably an asset to the organization because you certainly love what you're doing.
I do.
And you have a real sincere enthusiasm and faith in what you're doing.
Well, I believe that we can all make a difference in somebody's life, and if you can't get out and drive someplace to volunteer, we can certainly pick up the phone. That's just a nice, easy way to touch somebody's life, and we all need that voice at the other end of the phone ourselves, no matter what our age. So it's just nice to know. It gives us that good feeling that we've made a difference in somebody's life. So that's what the agency is all about, truly, just meeting that human need and trying to relieve human suffering and make folks be able to remain independent and have a good quality, healthy life.
When we talk about a good quality, healthy life, I think that many people who work and are in perhaps those middle years where they're raising their families or they're starting to become empty nesters or such, are so focused on getting through each day, getting through everything done, that perhaps not everybody sees how that world narrows as somebody becomes older and alone, all the people who are living alone. Because when you said about Telecare, that voice on the phone, for some people who are homebound, particularly homebound living alone, that may be the only human contact that they have, personal human contact.
Sure. And even if they're not alone, maybe their son and daughter-in-law go off to work during the day and they're just alone a certain time of the day. It's nice to still receive a call. Or if somebody's getting out of rehab, like your own mother, and might be home alone for a couple hours during the day in between home care, it's just nice to know that there's a voice at the other end of the phone. So we're reaching out to people that not necessarily all of them live alone, but if there's just a certain time of the day they want to visit on the phone, or somebody going through rehab for a couple of months until they're back at home again. So whatever the situation might be, we're not saying no to anybody. We're going to make those calls and bring that cheer through the phone line whenever we can.
How do you see Telecare growing?
Oh my gosh, I'm meeting next week with Jobs and Family Services in Summit County. I'm also meeting with some of the court probate department who work with seniors. I've also got an appointment with a senior facility in Stowe who wants to have it brought into their community. They probably have folks who are mobile and up and around that want to make calls, and then they might even have folks within the community that want to receive a call. So I'm getting calls daily about people that are interested in learning more about the program, and the phone's ringing daily. People are saying that they want to call or they want to receive a call. So it's growing quickly, and we have no limits. As long as we have as many volunteers as we do people wanting calls, we'll continue matching. So I could see it getting very busy. Now some folks might say, I no longer want to call, or I've left my home and I've moved in with my children, so I no longer feel I have a need for the call, or that type of thing. So as people's situations change, we'll transition. But I do have a senior volunteer by the name of Gloria. She's in my office 3 days a week, and it's she and I together matching people up and getting the paperwork done. So we're having a good time doing it.
With the benefits of this program to both sides, whether you're on the receiving end of the call or you are making the call, I would think that you're going to have a lot of volunteer opportunities in your own office just to keep up with the demand.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping will happen. I'll have a little corner of my department where I have 2 or 3 offices just facilitating Telecare. I think that would be great. Yeah.
Well, one more time, tell us how people can get involved, how to get in touch with you. Either way, if they want to receive calls or if they want to make calls. And this is active now in Medina and in Summit counties.
Yes. So to get involved with Telecare, it's 330-515-5601. That's the direct line for Telecare. And then my number for folks that want to volunteer in the community that are interested in possibly some of the agencies that I partner with, that's 330-253-4600. 4597 extension 166.
And if anybody, didn't happen to have a pencil or anything close by and didn't get the number written down, they can always do a search or call information or that and just ask for Mature Services. And when they reach Mature Services, just ask for the RSVP office.
Correct.
So no problem getting in touch with you and making this kind of thing. Well, we have been so happy to have you with us today, and I hope that you will be back with us and that we will have maybe some more guests from Mature Services, because it certainly is a very active organization here in Medina County and in Summit County.
Yes.
So Cathy, thank you very much for being with us. And I do want to encourage everybody, do contact Mature Services, contact RSVP. Remember, RSVP stands for the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Many opportunities out there for you and many services that you may benefit from, all areas for older adults. So thank you so much for being with us today, and we hope you have a wonderful day and you're back with us next time. Thank you.
Since 1971, RSVP has been matching volunteers' talents to community needs. RSVP is affiliated with the Corporation for National and Community Service, a national organization that supports service and volunteering through grant-funded projects. Volunteers organize neighborhood watch programs, tutor children, renovate homes, plant community gardens, assist victims of natural disasters, and serve their communities in many other ways. RSVP offers maximum flexibility and choice to its volunteers as it matches the personal interests and skills of Americans 55 and older with opportunities to serve their communities. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597 extension 166.